Und jetzt darf ich Julia von Weiler ankündigen. Liebe Julia, du beschäftigst dich jetzt auch mit dem Thema, das total wichtig ist und das heute Morgen auch schon mal fiel, nämlich die Schergewaltigung, über die du sprichst. Julia von Weiler, ich muss jetzt hier mein Papier wieder rüber, und das ist so viel, dass ich nichts vergesse. Julia von Weiler ist Psychologin und seit 2003 Geschäftsführerin von Innocence in Danger. Bis 2018 war sie Mitglied und Sprecherin der Konzeptgruppe Internet im Beirat der unabhängigen Beauftragten für Fragen des sexuellen Kindesmissbrauchs. Sie war außerdem Teil der Bund-Länder AG des BMFSJ. In der 17. Legislaturperiode wurde sie ins Bundesjugendkuratorium berufen, wo sie einen total wichtigen Job macht. Aktuell ist sie Expertin in einigen Arbeitsgruppen des Nationalen Rates gegen sexualisierte Gewalt an Kindern und Jugendlichen. Und sie nahm an verschiedenen internationalen Forschungsvorhaben teil und ist Autorin diverser Veröffentlichungen zum Thema digitale sexualisierte Gewalt. Und Julia von Weiler habe ich kennengelernt, weil sie nie den Mund hält und weil sie wirklich die Dinge beim Namen nennt. Und ich glaube, das ist so wichtig zu diesem Thema. Ich freue mich, wir freuen uns auf deinen Vortrag.
Thank you, Anja. Thank you, everybody. That was quite inspiring, what I heard so far. And out of politeness, I'll be doing my presentation in English for the international guests. And but it is available. The slides are available in English and German. And I'm sorry to say for the English-speaking crowd that the clips I brought will have to be translated simultaneously because we only have them in German. So who are we? Innocence in Danger. We are part of a worldwide movement fighting child sexual abuse by whatever means, also digital means. And when we were founded 20 years ago, it was all about the dissemination of child sexual abuse material. And then the internet changed and everything else changed. So my topic for today is, I go back, is about sexual violence amongst adolescents and young people using digital media, which is, if you think about it, something that we should not even have to mention any longer, because children and adolescents grow up with digital media, at their hands, with digital media, creating their relationships through digital media. So that's totally normal for them, and we should look at this holistically. So in our project, What About You? We targeted adolescents who were victimized by other adolescents. We targeted adolescents who became offenders, and we targeted those adolescents that we call bystanders. And we also targeted, of course, their parents and caretakers and teachers, pedagogues, people working with children and adolescents. So when we look, unfortunately, all the graphics are also in German, I'm sorry. But when we look at digital spaces, that's how I call it, digital spaces expand the dimension of sexual violence. And in a way, it perpetuates problematic behavior. So we have a significant, it's like a magnifying glass. It's like, it's like a huge magnifying glass, actually. When we look at the problem, digital spaces are used to establish contacts with known or unknown people. There are places to intensify the relationship. There are spaces for cyber grooming. There are spaces for sexualized acts of violence, which is what we call live stream sexual abuse. And of course, there are spaces in which dissemination of CSAM, child sexual abuse material, takes place. So when we talk about sexual violence and digital media, what do we talk about? And I brought four, let's see, is it four? I brought four short clips. I'm sorry, I brought four short clips, which signify the different aspects that we need to talk about, we think. Können Sie jetzt tun?
Ja, alles gut.
Ist auch mal?
Ja, danke.
Oh, ich habe so viele Fotos, warte, das muss ich dir auch zeigen. Hier, guck mal.
Als ob. Hey, schau mal.
Was denn?
Ist das nicht Julian?
Schick mir das mal bitte. Was ist das denn?
Krass, oder?
Warum machen die das?
Weiß ich nicht. Wie kann man sowas machen? Und warum filmt man das?
So this is one part of sexual violence by means of digital media. And we created a German word, which in translation would be called shared rape, because we wanted to emphasize that disseminating intimate or sexualized images of other people is not just, some sort of bullying or some sort of being a mean person. This is what we call sexual violence. And so this is one aspect, but these two girls actually, they're doing what many of us would do. They see something disturbing and then they say, oh, just hand it over. And handing over today means sending over, and sending over today means actually committing an act of a crime, even though they don't mean to. But working with adolescents, of course, this is something that we need to address and we need to know how to address. So here comes the other example.
Na du, alles klar bei dir?
Na?
Hey, was soll das?
Oh, fuck.
When talking about sexual violence amongst adolescents, we need to, we know that many of the violent acts are committed within partnerships or friendships, so by people that young people know, which is not so surprising if we think about it. So this is one example where someone in a relationship oversteps boundaries pretty badly. This is one thing that all these clips we use in trainings with or in workshops with adolescents. We use them in trainings with teachers and other people and in raising awareness campaigns. So now comes number 3. I'm sorry. This is about cyber grooming.
Mira, Essen ist fertig. Wo bleibst du denn?
Was ist denn los, Schatz? Ist alles in Ordnung bei dir?
So here a young person, makes use of messaging devices to talk a young girl into sending nude or intimate images. She doesn't know that she's actually chatting with a boy, thinking she's chatting with a very attractive young woman. And actually, this is one of the clips that I love using in my work with adolescents, because with this little story, you can basically talk about what do you guys need in order to trust your parents enough? What should your parents do? Do your parents even have a chance to get to know what's going on in your life? If not, why not? Who would be other people? What could she do? Why is he doing what he's doing? So this is actually one of the clips that I love using in our work with adolescents. And now comes the fourth clip, which adolescents actually also love, about dick pics.
Na? Ich wollte mir dein Prachtstück mal in echt angucken.
Sag mal, was willst du, Alter?
Glaubst du, irgendjemand möchte ungefragt ein Schwanzbild von dir bekommen? Du bist so ekelhaft.
All these clips we use in workshops. We created them together with adolescents, and we also used them in social media raising awareness campaigns, which worked very well. When we look at this issue, then in our opinion, we sort of titch between powerlessness and downplaying the phenomenon and being totally overwhelmed, reacting hysterically. But basically what we want to be, every single one of us, is to be like this Zen looking woman in the picture saying, I'm here and I'm taking you seriously. So the question is, what do we need to, what kind of tools do we need to have in order to, to become this Zen looking person, being able to say, I'm here and I'm taking you seriously. Again, one of the biggest obstacle oftentimes is the fact that sexual violence occurs within a relationship, be it an intimate relationship or a friendship, or at least, 75, there's a German study which says 75% of victims are in some sort of close relationship with the offender, with the offending person. And I brought another little clip. You see, my presentation is all about clips. I brought another little clip where we explain what I mean by when I say shared violence. Frederick Fobbe actually this morning was already talking about the differentiation between sexting and the then resulting violent act of the dissemination of intimate images.
Digitale Medien verändern Sexualität und verändern sexuelle Handlungsspielräume. Und in der Diskussion darum gibt es immer ganz viel Verwirrung, weil unter dem Begriff Sexting, das setzt sich zusammen aus Sex und Texting, dem englischen Wort für SMS schreiben, immer alles subsumiert wird. Die sexuelle Handlung, aber auch die Gewalthandlung. Und wir finden es ganz wichtig, das zu differenzieren. Sexting ist, wenn ein oder mehrere Personen einvernehmlich, freiwillig, auf Augenhöhe miteinander sexuell interagieren und das digital aufnehmen. Entweder gemeinsam oder füreinander und das auch konsumieren. Vergewaltigung nennen wir es, wenn eine oder mehrere Personen diesen intimen Zirkel verlassen und diese intimen Aufnahmen verbreiten an bekannte oder auch unbekannte Dritte und das Opfer in den Aufnahmen dann vollkommen bloßgestellt wird. Und wir finden es eben ganz wichtig, zwischen dem einvernehmlichen Sex, Sexting und der Gewalthandlung, Vergewaltigung zu unterscheiden.
Yes, that's we really believe that to be very important, to differentiate between consensual sex and non-consensual violence. So when we think about survivors, what do they need? They need informed caregivers. They need empathy. They need someone who understands, who keeps calm, who pays attention and intervenes. They need education and aftercare. So being empathetic and informed means we know what's going on online. It doesn't mean we need to become professional gaming people necessarily, but maybe we watch a Let's Play here and there, or we ask adolescents what's going on. Maybe we try out Instagram or TikTok every once in a while, at least know what it's all about. So we need to be informed. And we also need to understand the different dynamics that take place when sexual violent acts become also part of digital communication and digital dissemination. And we actually, after an empirical study we created an intervention training, stop shared violence is what we called it. And we basically train with pretty heavy duty cases that we came up with, train intervention, because we believe that education and prevention, of course, is important, but is only as good as the intervention that follows behind. And I strongly believe that for many years now, we sort of got stuck in the prevention, and we need to get better in intervention, and we need to reach out to more people to enable them to intervene, at least take the first step towards intervention. So when we talk about education in our programs, when we educate children or adolescents, we promote what we call digital relationship skills, which is a very unsexy word, but we think relationships are complicated. Communication is really complicated. This all within the offline and online worlds interchanging is even more complicated. So we believe it's a good idea to promote these skills. So what does that mean? It's the question of what is a good friendship? What is a healthy relationship? Is it different somehow offline or online? How do we think before we post? Seriously, how do we manage to do that? Even you and me as adults, how do we think before we post? Then one of the educational sentences that we always say when it comes to sexual violence, we say, be aware of your perceptions and trust your gut. But how does that work if it's all online, if it's happening online? What are our limits, and how do we go about with these limits? So when we approached the What About Us project on sexual violence amongst adolescents, we said that we needed to, and this I believe is the last clip for today, we needed to take a holistic approach, reach out to everybody. That's at least what we try to do. And here's a little clip explaining what it's all about.
Ist alles gut bei dir?
Innocence in Danger ist eine Kinderschutzorganisation, die sich kümmert um das Thema sexuelle Gewalt und digitale Medien. Zwei komplexe Themen miteinander verbunden. Wir sagen, sexuelle Gewalt hat es immer schon gegeben, aber die digitalen Medien haben dem nochmal eine ganz besondere Dynamik gegeben, und mit der gehen wir um und über die klären wir auf.
Ja, ich habe schon öfter Dickpics bekommen.
Ich schicke dir jetzt meinen Schwanz und dann mal schauen. Ich glaube, das ist auch so eine Art Sexanfrage.
Aber ich habe es dann einfach ignoriert und habe die Person dann blockiert.
Ich kenne tatsächlich jemanden, der Nacktfotos von seiner Ex-Freundin veröffentlicht hat.
Gerade in der Jugend, wenn man anfängt, seine Sexualität zu entwickeln, wenn man anfängt, intime Beziehungen zu haben, auch körperlich intime Beziehungen zu haben, dann wird es oft kompliziert.
Damit du auch endlich mal fixt, Alter! Komm los, mach mal Attacke jetzt hier!
Und dann geht es ja auch ein bisschen darum, die Grenzen auszuloten, herauszufinden, was mag ich nicht, aber traue ich mich dann noch zu sagen, wenn ich was nicht mag.
Was ist das denn?
Krass, oder?
Warum machen die das?
wann wird eine sexuelle intime Handlung grenzwertig?
Hey!
Und wann benutzt jemand eine sexuelle Handlung, um Macht auszuüben?
Ich hatte das auch schon mal, dass von mir selbst ein Foto halt, was ein bisschen freizügiger war, weitergeschickt wurde.
Und mit unserem Projekt wollen wir uns sowohl an Jugendliche richten, die Gewalt erleiden, als auch an die, die Gewalt ausüben und an die, die Gewalt beobachten oder anvertraut bekommen und nicht wissen, wie sie damit umgehen sollen.
Also ich war schon auf jeden Fall Zeuge von sowas. Ich habe da auf jeden Fall mal mit gesehen, was da passiert ist. Habe dann aber halt nicht interagiert, also ich habe einfach nichts gemacht.
Ich würde auf jeden Fall raten, sich nicht zu schämen und sich mitunter Hilfe zu suchen.
Das ist das Wichtigste, nicht wegschauen.
Was soll das? So, das kannst du nicht bringen.
Und du? Und du?
Und du?
So what we did, we created a whole program for youth, for parents, for teachers, for adolescents. We created power workshops for healthy relationships. That's what we called them for adolescents. We created workshops for professionals working with youth, with young people in a professional or in a voluntary capacity, for example, also in sports clubs or, you know, some sort of volunteer work. We created workshops for parents and guardians. And we did, what we also did was we created a special workshop concerning the Loverboy strategy, you know, talking about organized crime for adolescents, because oftentimes these Loverboys are very young men targeting very young girls or young women. And something that I'm very, very proud of, we translated all of our material into sign language, into German Sign Language, I have to say. Also with our online tools, which I will introduce in a second. So we created a whole campaign, and you know, these are the messages that we want adults to take home with. You know, again, the Zen-looking woman saying, "I'm here, I take you seriously." The couple or parents or caregivers saying, "We are here and we're listening." And the guy to the right saying, "I know what I can do to help you," which is always good to know. So these are sort of our guidelines. And in order to fulfill these guidelines, we need to know who are our people, where do we get the information we need, where is the next counseling center, do I call the police, yes, no, maybe. And we also created what we called the Power Box, lots of material to be used in the work with young people or parents and caregivers. And we believe, in order to, you know, I'm telling you nothing new, basically, so I can do this really quickly. We need to become a very strong network, or we need to be part of a very strong network. And we need to know how to support ourselves and how to support ourselves in our work. Who do we need to connect with? Do we need some sort of gaming training in order to understand what's going on online and whatnot? So we need to network, we need to support each other, and we also need to be a role model for young people. And this is actually often something that we don't like very much to be, because that means we have to sort of question our own digital behavior, which sometimes is a little more stressful than we would like. What we also did, we created an online portal, which we called Undu, which is the German, that's the German project name. And on this site, on this website, you can find all sorts of information. You have a dictionary with all sorts of words. You find material to use for work with youth and adolescents. You can book workshops and trainings. We conducted more workshops with more than 500 adolescents and almost 500 professionals during the past year. And close to 200 parents, which is also something we're very proud of. And this entire website is available in sign language. You see here the little hands. So if you switch that on, everything is translated into sign language for you. And we created something I'm also very proud of. We created an app, the hashtag Undo app for professionals, which is available without cost in all the app stores. And there you will find a guide what to do when you suspect something or when someone tells you about an act of sexual violence. And this guide is not some written paper, but it's an animated film spoken by a very renowned German actor, which I think is very much fun. And you will also find here you find help, and you will find small tools to work with adolescents along the way. We also, of course, created a social awareness campaign and magazines. And here, of course, you'll get the slides. So here is more information for English speaking people or for those Germans who want to sort of be inspired by what other countries are doing. And for the Germans, here is more information on all the relevant websites. Basically, this is it. And I cannot tell you about the results yet because this project actually is still being evaluated. We will present all the findings and all our experiences on a conference in May, on May 10th and 11th. So if you have the time and feel like it, come to Berlin. And that's it.